will start. So, hi everyone. Welcome to Sellers 2020. So, I'm super excited to have all of you here. So, I'm your host for these sessions. Before that, I would like to remind to all participants to switch on your camera and please turn off your mic. So, let me introduce our speaker today. In 2019, he participated in the Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement TAA program hosted by University of North Carolina, Wilmington. Moreover, he was selected to attend the East Asia Pacific e-Teacher Conference in 2017. Also, he was awarded a gold medal in the Perak State Innovative Teacher Competition in 2017. So, let's welcome our speaker today, Mr. Hazwan Hamidan.
Okay, good day everyone. Hello and hi.
Hello.
Welcome to Celeste. I hope that you can hear my voice clearly. Assalamualaikum and a very pleasant day. Welcome to Celeste 2020. Before I begin, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Ministry of Education, Science and Technological Research of Sarawak, MESTA, for inviting me for this session. Allow me to share my screen first and see the slides clearly. Okay, on my side over here, you can see the slides combining unplugged hands-on activities to connect with live virtual lessons. So in this 1 hour session, I will try my best to explain a little bit about some challenges that I myself faced when teaching online or when conducting virtual classroom, and then maybe some steps that I would like to share with all of you on how to connect hands-on activities with live virtual lessons. And then I will show some sample of activities that I did with my kids, and also some at the end of the session, I will share some maybe 1 or 2 suggested activities that you can do with your students, and we'll end the session with a Q&A session. So if you have any question throughout the session, you may just ask me or just type in the chat box so that we know there are some questions that you want to ask, maybe some clarification and so on. Okay. So before I begin, I just want to a little bit about myself. Okay, my name is Hazwan bin Hamidan. I am the Fulbright Teaching Excellence Achievement, as mentioned just now by our moderator. Okay. I was there in University of North Carolina, Wilmington last spring, and currently I'm teaching at Sekolah Agama Bantuan Kerajaan SABK Mahat Ihya Diniyah Islamiyah Kampung Gajah Perak. It's a very small school. We only have around 250 students in a very small town of Kampung Gajah Perak. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, to start with, so I like my presentation to be as engaging as possible, and try my best to involve my participants or the viewers presentation. So let's start with a very short brainstorm. Okay, take a look at this picture, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Take a look at this picture. How would you describe this picture and what strikes you about it? Okay, if any of you would like to respond, you can just raise your hand and then you can just switch on your mic and you can just tell us what can you see from the picture. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. I just give you some time to take a look at this picture. How can you describe it and what strikes you about it? Okay, is there anybody would like to try? What can you see in this picture?
It's like a quicksand. The man is drowning.
Okay, you can see that there's a quicksand. The man is drowning, most probably. Okay, I'm not going to say whether this is the right or wrong answer. It's just a free and easy question. You can just make your guess. Okay, there's no right or wrong answer for this question. Just want to get all of you here at 3:45 p.m. Okay, anybody can just make a guess, a wild guess. What is happening? Okay, so just now we heard that it might be quicksand. Okay.
It's a very okay. Hi, I'm Mala from Kuching. It's a very busy street.
Okay.
Very busy street, and frankly, that the man on the motorcycle there, probably a traffic policeman or yeah, he doesn't even seem surprised to see the man in that big pothole.
Okay.
So I would say this is more like, something to get the attention of the authorities to come and repair the road as soon as possible.
That's good. Wonderful. Wonderful answer. Great answer. Okay. So, as I mentioned just now, there's no right or wrong answer. And actually, we already have done one hands-on activity. You describe a picture during a live session. Okay. So this is a very good starter in every class if you want to make your students to switch on their mic, to switch on their camera, to just put a random picture, make them describe it. You just put maybe three questions, like what I did just now, only two questions, and then set, for example, you have to explain in 5 sentences or maybe 3 sentences what they can see in the picture. So that's directly what we are doing just now. What we've done just now is already a one hands-on activity in the live classroom. So congratulations, we can just end up the session. Okay, just joking. Okay, you still have a long way to go now. Okay, so moving on. This is the reality in our current education system, whereby our curriculum is designed for face-to-face interaction, okay, or for physical classroom, of course. The teachers use technology to help in delivering the lessons, not as primary method of delivery. So that is the current situation, the reality of our education system. We have the technology, but usually we use the technology to help us in delivering the lesson, not as primary method of delivery. Next, our mindset is still in physical classroom. So because this virtual classroom is kind of ad hoc for all of us, the pandemic happens all of a sudden, we are not ready with it. So our mindset is actually still in physical classroom. We still want all students to participate in our live classroom. We still want 30 out of 30 students to be in the classroom. So that kind of mindset should be changed a little bit. We have to lower down our expectation because that is the reality. The thing is ad hoc. Okay, it happens all of a sudden. We are not ready for this. Okay, so uh, after that, okay, so this is one question that I want all of you to try to respond. Okay, so this is a very good question. Okay, and I'm sure that if not mistaken, for those who respond to this quickly, you might get a reward after this. So the organizer can, for those who respond to this question, the first person to respond to this question, okay, you will be rewarded by the organizer of this session. Okay, so the question is, what do you understand by hands-on activity? Maybe you can just say in 2 or 3 sentences, what do you understand by hands-on activity? Okay, so if you are ready to respond, you can just either raise your hand in the Zoom, or you can just switch on your mic and respond to the question straight away. And then those who respond quickly will be rewarded with a gift by the organizer. Okay, so anybody want to want to grab this chance to explain to the rest of the attendees today, what do you understand by hands-on activity? Okay. Okay, so we have somebody raise your hand over here. Okay, maybe you can just start. If not mistaken, the name highlighted is Lu, L-U. So maybe you can just switch on your mic and also switch on your mic camera so that we can see who is talking and you can start responding. Okay. I can see somebody is raising hand just now. Is there anybody want to give a try on what do you understand by hands-on activity? Yeah. So we have, okay, Lu, Lu, if not mistaken, the name, sorry, if you, do you really want to respond to this question or anybody else?
I think they are responding in the chat.
In the chat, okay, let's
Yeah.
take a look at the chat. Sorry, cannot see where's the chat now. Shazlin, can you help me? I cannot see the chat right now.
Mr. Hazwan, you may click the chat icon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we have chats right here. So who's going to, which question, who's going to, who are we going to give the answer right now? Because there are a lot of answers in the chat box. So maybe we can choose the best answer. Do you agree, Shazlin, to give the
Yes.
best answer?
Just choose the best answer.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I would take Esther's answer as the best answer for today. Hands-on activities let the students' mind grow and learn based on experiences and the environment they are exposed to. Okay, so that is one good response. Give yourself a big round of applause, everyone. Okay, so after this, you can contact with our moderator and she will take further details about you, and then maybe some rewards will be given to you. Okay, so good. Maybe next. Okay, let's take a look. So in short, we can say that hands-on is learning by doing something. So that's as simple as that. We have to make sure the students learn by doing something. Before I forget, I have to explain to you that I'm also an English language teacher. I'm not a science teacher, so maybe you think that I'm going to show you some experiments here and there, poof, something magical thing comes out from the screen. No, I'm not going to show that. I'm going to show some English language activities, hands-on activities that you can do, that we actually can do in a virtual classroom. Okay, so it's simple as learning by doing. So, and we have to change this stigma whereby hands-on cannot be done in virtual classroom. Hands-on does not have to mean face-to-face. Okay, this is a very mindset. This is a mindset that we have to change, whereby hands-on need to be face-to-face. So it can be done without meeting the students personally. We can do it virtually. Okay, so it can be done in virtual classroom. Just now we have done one, right? Describing. So before we go to how to combine the hands-on activities, we have to realize that there are some challenges in conducting virtual lessons. Okay, these are some of the challenges that I found in my context. So maybe that you have greater challenges when dealing with students during virtual classroom. Okay, so the first challenge that I found in my classroom context is that students are sharing their gadgets. Okay, one student, they have 5 siblings, for example, and they are using their mother's handphone, and they are sharing the gadgets. Okay, so this is the first challenge that I have to understand, that my students, okay, because I'm telling you this because the mother herself texted me asking me to reschedule the live classroom because the 4 kids are sharing one handphone at home. So this is the real thing happening in the virtual classroom, because the thing happens all of a sudden, okay? And then we have expectations versus reality. As I mentioned earlier, we have higher expectations when we want to conduct the virtual classroom. There are 30 students, so we expect all 30 students to be present in our live classroom, okay? In reality, maybe only 5 turn out, okay? So I myself, when I conduct a virtual classroom, I lower down my expectation because I know the first challenge just now is that students are sharing their gadgets. So I lower down my expectations. My KPI is very simple. Out of 30 of the students, if there are 5 of them in the Google Meet, for example, at the same time, I will start my lesson. Okay, what about the rest? There are another 25. Okay, so if we are using the MOE account, we actually can record our Google Meet session, and then we can upload our session in the YouTube, so that the remaining 25 can still participate um, as not during the live session. Okay, so this is related with synchronous and synchronous learning. So for those 5, they can participate during live session. The remaining 25, they can participate as well in the classroom, but in recording, they can just view the recording. Okay. And then another challenge when we are doing virtual lessons is that we have limited or almost no eye contact. Okay, we have to understand, because students are sharing gadgets, they cannot go online at the same time. They're also considering about the data and also the connectivity, so they don't want to switch on their camera. Sometimes they don't want to switch on their mic unless we ask them to do so. Okay, so like what I say, I lower down my expectation. I don't ask them to switch on the mic or the camera all the time. Maybe in certain time only they will switch on their mic. Maybe when I ask them to respond to question, then they will only switch on the mic or switch on the camera. Okay. And finally, the next challenge that I found is that connectivity itself, not only related with students' internet connection, but sometimes we ourselves, teachers, also face the same situation. We are stressful because the internet connection doesn't help us on that particular day when we are doing the live classroom. Okay, when we are watching YouTube, it's very good, but suddenly when we are conducting the Google Meet or Zoom session, suddenly the internet is not there. Okay, so we have to understand that these are some of the challenges. As I mentioned just now, these are the challenges that I found in my context. Maybe you have other challenges when teaching, connecting with students in virtual classroom. Okay, okay, let's move on. Now we are entering the session where how to combine unplugged hands-on activities to connect with live virtual classroom. So the first that we have to do is to be prepared with materials to be used. Be prepared, okay? As teachers, we cannot just go there, switch on the Google Meet and start teaching, okay? That goes back to traditional classroom. Now we are doing virtually, okay? We have to lower down some expectation. The curriculum, as I mentioned just now, is not doesn't cater this kind of live virtual classroom. Okay, so be prepared. Maybe we have to lower down our standard when we teach online. We have to go slowly instead of very quick, like what we do in the classroom. Okay, so be prepared. Maybe we prepare. Another understanding about preparation is that we give students pre-lesson activity. Okay, maybe before we enter the Google Meet live session, we give them 1 or 2 videos to be watched that is related with the lesson that we are going to carry out. Next is try to use platform that students familiar with. Okay, this is very important because sometimes we go to webinar, we go to workshop, we as teachers, we enter a lot of workshops and so on. We are very enthusiastic to teach students using all these apps. But we forget one thing, that the students are not familiar with these apps. So use platform that students familiar with. For example, if they are familiar with Google Meet, so we just proceed with Google Meet. Furthermore, Google Meet is using lower bandwidth. So if they have slow connectivity, they can still access to Google Meet compared to Zoom, for example. And when we want to conduct lesson, sometimes people say, why you are conducting lesson in WhatsApp or Telegram? Because that is the one or the app that students are familiar with, and they can read the instructions again and again because the chat is there. Okay, and between WhatsApp and Telegram, I will go for Telegram because it is using cloud. Okay, I'm not promoting Telegram over here, but just to make things to make all of us understand that Telegram offers more options for us. We can create polls, we can create questions, and so on. Okay. Next, we have to consider all factors, okay, including the gadgets that the students are using, the internet connection on that day, and maybe other subjects that they are learning on that particular day. Okay, so maybe in one day maybe students are learning one or maybe two or maybe three subjects in one day. So are we expecting them to be in front of the laptop throughout the day? Maybe even though in the timetable stated 1 hour, do we really need to be in front of the laptop for 1 hour with the students? So that goes back to our methodology when we want to teach online. Okay. And when I'm conducting my lesson, even though it's supposed to be 1 hour, okay, in the timetable stated that you have to teach 1 hour, but usually my session will last for half an hour only, okay? Because in reality, okay, if we go to our class, we'll teach for half an hour and we ask the student to do activities for the rest of half an hour, for example. So we have to stick to that style of teaching. So teach, deliver our instructions, maybe half an hour, 20 minutes, 18 minutes, 15 minutes, fine. As long as the instructions can be understood by the student and they can carry out the activity and later submit to us. Okay, so the flow is still the same. We deliver instruction, students do the activity, and finally they will return the work or submit the work. And finally, when we want to combine our activities, the hands-on and also the live virtual lesson, we have to make sure our instructions are clear. Okay, so how to make our instructions clear? Number one, we have to make sure the language level is at par with their language proficiency, obviously. Okay. Number two, try to make sure the students can listen or read the instructions again and again, because if in the physical classroom, they can ask us to repeat the instructions, or maybe during recess, they will go and meet us in the staff room. But in the virtual classroom, there's none. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, we can just record our virtual classroom, upload on YouTube so that students can listen again and again the instructions, how to do it, and the steps that needed to be taken when we want to conduct the session. Okay, and also the platform is very important when we want to give instructions. Okay, for example, what I did, I upload the YouTube, I upload my video in YouTube so that student will watch the instructions and listen to the instructions, and then I also continue giving the same instruction in their WhatsApp group. So maybe students do not have time to respond or to watch the YouTube, okay, so they can just read the instructions in the WhatsApp. And I also upload the same instruction in Google Classroom so that they don't have any excuse. I do not know the instructions, sir. I do not understand. I haven't read the instruction. So use as many channels as possible. Okay, and remember the channel that the students are familiar with, the channel that the student have access to. Okay. Okay. Next. So we're already halfway through right now. Okay. So I'm going to, if you have any question, okay, maybe you want to ask question for the clarification, you can just ask in the chat box so that I can just take a look and maybe respond to it. Okay. So I'm going to share with you two activities that I do that involve hands-on and also virtual classroom. Okay, so these two activities that I did recently with my students, and it seems very effective for my students, my level of students, my level of students. Okay, so I hope that maybe these two activities, all of you can try to apply in your classroom. Okay, so the first activity that I'm going to show you is the bio poem. Okay, so what's a bio poem? As I mentioned earlier, we have to lower down a little bit of our expectation, the language level, the standard in the curriculum, and so on to cater the need of virtual lesson. Okay, so what is bio poem? So bio poem is actually the students have to write a poem, a very simple poem, but involve you have to make sure you have the language target, which is adjectives and also adjective clauses, for example, for this activity. So instructions, I gave the instructions in the YouTube. So I record myself talking in front of the camera like this, and then upload on the YouTube. I don't want to be a YouTuber. Okay, don't put words into my mouth. I just want to make sure the students can get the instructions. So I don't mind if nobody wants to subscribe to the channel, because what is important to me is that the students, my own students, can see the instructions. They can pause, they can replay, they can watch over and over again while doing the work, so that they know they are on the right track. Okay, so uh, after the instruction given in the YouTube, I send a reminder in WhatsApp, and also I put up the same instructions in Google Classroom. Okay, so three channels. I gave instruction in three channels. Okay, and students write about bio poem at the end of the week. I'm expecting that the students are going to write a bio poem on their own. Okay, a bio poem is a biography poem. So students have to describe themselves using adjectives and adjective clauses. Okay, and the due date is very important. Okay, because as I mentioned just now, we have to consider all factors, including students sharing gadgets, students have other classes to do, and so on. So I usually give them 1 week time to complete the task. Okay, 1 week time to complete the task. So that's what I do. I found it difficult to make students submit the work in 1 day when doing virtual classroom, because um, we know that the students cannot do it. So why we have to assign students to complete in 1 day? So extend the submission day. Okay, extend the submission day. Okay, so this is, I'm showing you how I do it. So the first thing that I do is upload it on YouTube. Okay, I record myself using online video, or maybe just record myself in a video, upload the video on YouTube. Okay, and show to the student, share the link in the WhatsApp group, so that students can see what is the instruction and how to do it, and listen to it without asking us to repeat the instructions. Okay, you don't want to repeat over and over again, so we just upload the recording. Or if you don't want to upload on the YouTube, maybe you can just share in the WhatsApp straight away. We record ourselves using handphones, maybe voice note, or ourselves talking, and then we send into the WhatsApp group, for example. However, we have to consider that downloading video requires more data. But if students watch on YouTube, it doesn't require more data for students. So we have to consider this factor as well. Okay, so I send instruction in the YouTube, in the WhatsApp, sorry. And then at the end of the day, okay, I get this, the product itself, okay, the product itself, okay. And when I want the student to submit the product, or the final work that they do, okay, I always give them freedom to choose. Okay, so either they can submit using Google Documents, or they can just write in their book and snap the picture and then send to me on my WhatsApp, or can simply email me. Okay, so we always give the students freedom to choose when they want to submit, and also when they want to do it. Okay, how to do it, on what platform, we have to give some freedom for students to choose. Okay, and do not limit their creativity. If they want to use Canva, for example, they know how to use Canva, put words on Canva, and so on. Send the link to us. Yes, we have to accept. Okay, try to accept. And for those who are writing, okay, in the book, okay, maybe it's not clear. Maybe we can just ask them to type back in the WhatsApp. Okay, so that can help us to assess their work. Okay, because at the end of the day, what we want to see is the final product. Okay, I don't have to show you how tedious the work to make sure students follow the process, because they will keep on asking questions personally in WhatsApp and so on. So that is actually that involves certain time, because we put some time for them to complete. Okay, so students do not want to send products straight away. They show a bit, maybe steps. I did this, sir. Is it correct? I'm doing like this. Is it correct? So students will keep on asking questions. Okay, and we have to consider that sometimes they just wait for their parents to come back to return from work, and that's the only time they can use the phone. So sometimes we just have to respond. Sometimes I responded to WhatsApp in the middle of the night and so on. So yeah, it's quite tiring, but that's the reality that we have to face. Hopefully it's not out until next year. Okay. Another activity that I did recently with the students involving hands-on activities that connect with virtual classroom. Okay, it's the travel brochure. Okay, this is related with, not mistaken, chapter 7 in Pulse for secondary school. Okay, so the topic is supposed to be around the world, going around the world or travel somewhere. Okay, so I just ask the students to create travel brochure based on this topic. Okay. So a travel brochure is actually an activity whereby students create their own travel brochure. Okay, incorporating arts into language classroom. So usually we have stamp. Now we try to add A there, the arts into language classroom. Okay, so I assign student, as I mentioned earlier, I will assign student with a pre-learning activity. Okay, so they have to watch a video on YouTube about going somewhere, going abroad, going to a country, and so on. So, and then I conducted a Google Meet session, a live Google Meet session with students. If not mistaken, on that particular day, there's only 16 of the students out of 25 of 29. Sorry, 16 of 29. That's quite good, but they switch on their mic, they switch on their cameras. I do not know what they are doing at the moment, but it's fine because we want to deliver the instructions and they can watch later when we upload on YouTube. Okay, and then after the step is still the same. Okay, we give the instructions on live classroom, and we make sure students can listen to the instruction again. We upload on YouTube or just send the video to WhatsApp, and then put the same instruction on WhatsApp and Google Classroom, and students try to produce a travel brochure. Okay. And in the instruction, I told them that they have, I also gave them 1 week time to complete this task. And I told them that on first day, you have to show me what, on the second day, you have to show me. So I want to see progress. I don't want to see the only product. So some students, they follow this instruction, okay? We cannot expect, as I say, we have to lower the expectation. Okay, we cannot expect all students will show the process, so show the progress. So maybe half of the class, maybe 5 students show the progress, so that means it's already good. Okay, for me, it's already good. Okay. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is the graphic on how we do it, okay, in the Google Classroom and also in the live classroom. Okay, and finally in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so instruction must be distributed clearly for the students to understand what they are supposed to do. And voila, this is the product. Okay, this is the travel brochure that the students completed. Okay, have done. Okay, you can see a beautiful Perth brochure of Perth. Okay. Students also are allowed to use a paper if they don't know how to use Google document, they don't know how to use Google Slide, they don't know how to use Canva and so on. Allow them, give them some freedom to write, to doodle on their own paper. Okay, so visit UAE, for example. So they are going to write about 3 interesting places in UAE. They also write about Pasir Salah, a historical place in Perak. And I allow them to either paste picture, to draw, and so on. Okay, so give them freedom, platform to do work. Okay, and then the submission method also, we should give some freedom to them. Okay, so if either upload to Drive, okay, if you can see the first picture, the Perth brochure is actually uploaded into the Google Drive. So in the instruction earlier, Instruction, I mentioned that they can submit on the Google Drive so that students can, okay, in the instruction, I also give them a link to Google Drive, okay, so that student can upload their work in the Google Drive if they know how to use it. If they do not know how to use Google Drive, they can simply snap the picture and send to me, okay. If they're using Canva, they can just screenshot what they have done and then send to me, okay. So when we give students some freedom to choose on how to do it, or on ways to do it, so student will be will enjoy the session because they know that teachers, the teacher himself understand that they want to see the product. Okay, so if not mistaken, we have one poll. Okay, can we just take up our poll? Okay. Our poll, yeah. Okay, so poll, I launch a poll. Okay, the poll is: have you tried using hands-on activities in online classroom? Okay, so let's take a look. Okay. 30%, there are 10 already voted. Okay, so we can see that based on the poll. Okay, so can I just end the poll right now? Okay, so based on the poll, we can see that 62% or maybe 13 out of 33, if I'm not mistaken right now, okay, say that you have tried using hands-on activities in online classroom. Wonderful, okay, that's good actually. We have teachers have done a very good job during this pandemic. We do not, we are not equipped with this skill to conduct hands-on activities in online classroom. But we as teachers, we learn, we keep on learning, we unlearn what we have learned before and relearn something new, okay, in order to cater to the needs of this virtual classroom. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look. So I guess that's all for the two activities that I've done with my students in the classroom. Okay, and I'm going to share with you some suggested activities, maybe two suggested activities that we can do virtually with the students. Okay, so the first, there are two activities that we can do with the students. Number one is listen and draw. It's a very interesting activity because we are actually forcing the student to switch on their mic and switch on their camera. So they have to listen and draw. It's a very simple activity, but students will and must do it at that particular time. Okay, so how this involves grammar lesson actually. So maybe you want to teach a preposition. Preposition is a very, it's the grammatical item that we can teach students while drawing, okay? Regardless whether our own drawing is not beautiful, it's fine because we are going to give the students instructions, okay? So teacher, we have to read the instructions and students will draw, okay? So as simple as before we go to preposition, maybe you can say, draw, okay, take out your paper, draw a circle in the middle of the paper. So student will start drawing in the middle of the paper. And then we continue. Draw a rectangle inside the circle. And then we continue. Draw a triangle at the bottom right. Draw a square at the bottom left, and so on. And at the end, after we have read out the instructions, okay, we ask the student to switch on their camera and then show the paper. So as simple as that. They just do at the time and then show the paper. Maybe we can see different way of drawing. Okay, maybe some put at the top right hand, left right hand, and so on. Okay, left corner, bottom bottom right, and so on. So we have to we can see how the students can do this activity. Okay, even for secondary school students, we just want to test whether they are really listening to our instructions or not. Because for PT3 and SPM as well, they are going to have this listening test. So listen to instruction is very important for them. Okay, and they can do this. Okay, as simple as that. Or we can make students draw something related with prepositions straight away. Okay, draw a box. We can just say, okay, draw a box. There is a cat in the box. So regardless how beautiful or not beautiful the cat is, they have to try drawing the cat in the box. Okay, there's a cat on beside the box. There's a dog behind the box. Okay, there's a chicken flying above the box, for example. So students will draw what they can hear from our instructions. Okay. So and at the end, student will show their drawing using the webcam. Okay. Just maybe 1 or 2 minutes, everybody show your drawing so we can see whether the students are following the instructions or not. So this is a very simple activity, but hands-on and can be done virtually during our live classroom. Okay. Another activity, this is actually a very interesting activity because usually in the classroom, okay, remember that virtual classroom doesn't stop our style of teaching, okay? It shouldn't stop. It shouldn't disconnect our style, our previous style of teaching. For example, in the class, we assign students to write in groups, for example, right? We ask the student to write with their friends, brainstorm ideas, and so on. So how can we do this in virtual classroom? Okay. So group writing using online platform is something that we can do in the virtual classroom. Okay. Students can work in pairs, take turn to write and do peer checking. We can do this in Google document, for example, Google Docs. Okay. Just ask the student to share their document with 2 or 3 friends and they write in their Google Docs, Google documents. Okay. And as a teacher, when they assign us to, when they share the document with us, we can see who writes and when they write. We can identify, we can track which students write, okay, and which students do not contribute to the activity. Okay, as simple as writing a very short paragraph. Okay, we can say, okay, student A write write the paragraph first, and then student B either you check or you continue. Student C can do the peer checking. So this activity we can actually do in the classroom, in the virtual classroom using Google Documents. Okay, so students can take turn to write and do peer checking, or as simple as, okay, as simple as doing like this. This is a very interesting activity you can try. Okay, write with me. Okay, writing as well. Big group which involve the whole classroom in one canvas, in one document. Okay, and we assign students. Okay, for example, there are 9 of you in the classroom right now. So 9 of you, you are number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, number 1 write first sentence, number 2 write the second sentence, 3, and then continue doing that. So after the 9th students write their the sentence, student 1 will continue. Okay, so this activity actually, okay, we can do in the classroom during live session. Okay, and we can see, we can track students' progress as well at the same time, whether they are doing it right or they are doing it wrongly. Okay, so those 4 activities, okay, I shared with you 4 activities today. Okay, only 4. I don't feel that I want to share more because we only have limited time. Maybe if there is other chance that I can share with you more activities that I've done with my students involving hands-on activity and virtual classroom. I will be very glad to share with all of you. Okay. So the second half your say for today, I will take a look at the chat as well. If you want to respond while by switching on your mic and camera, you can just go for it, or you can just type your answer in the chat box. From the 4 activities that we have done just now, okay, so we have our activity right just now. We have bio poem, we have travel brochure, we have write with me, and also listen and draw. So which activity, okay, do you want to do with the students, okay, and why? Okay, from the 4 activities, or maybe you have your own activity that you want to share with us, and why you choose that activity as your hands-on activity in virtual classroom. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, because we are towards the end of the session already. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, if you have any question, you can just ask in the chat box. Okay, while waiting for the question, okay, I'll be taking a look. Okay, if you have chosen one activity, we can just explain further why you choose that. Okay, because we can consider you to win the second prize for today for this session. Okay.
Hi, I'm Cikgu Hamila.
Hi, Cikgu Hamila. Okay, good. Okay, Cikgu Hamila. Yes.
Yeah, I think I would choose a travel brochure because for me it involves for as a language teacher it involves two skills, reading and writing. First, the students they have to read different materials to get the information that they want for the places that they want to introduce in the brochure, and then for the presentation, I think they have to write as well, right? They have to write, and then they have to organize their points according to their own ability. Some good student will definitely write good brochure. Poor student will try, and there are mistakes here and there. And then I think at the same time, instead of covering just reading and writing activity, we can do speaking activity as well. We can have online classes like Google Classroom, where the students can present the brochure, or they can record themselves at home anytime they want, record using their handphone and so on, and post it to WhatsApp or Telegram, the recording of them presenting their brochure just now. So we cover all the three skills.
That's wonderful. Congratulations. Is that all?
Yeah, I think, and then the rest, if you want to include the listening activity, the rest they can jot down notes and then they can compare. Probably.
Yes, that's wonderful. So you actually that's the purpose of. Congratulations, thank you, Cikgu Amila. Maybe after this you can contact with our moderator, okay, and you can claim the prize for today. Okay, so thank you. Actually, Cikgu Hamila, if I'm not mistaken, based on the name on the Zoom, okay, you have shared the extension of the activity actually. Okay, so yes, we can do after you have done the brochure. The students have done with the brochure. Maybe in the next session of the live classroom, we can ask the students to take their brochure and show to the classroom and then present. Okay, read what they have written. Okay, or as simple as sending voice note into WhatsApp. Okay, because we want the students to understand that virtual live classroom or online learning doesn't mean you have to do live classroom only. Okay, so even though our session is supposed to talk about live, okay, but we have to be in the reality bubble whereby not all students can do activities during the live session. For those who can do it during the live session, they are very grateful because they have the internet connection, stable connection, they have the gadget to use and so on. Okay, so congratulations to Cikgu Hamila for responding to the question. Okay, maybe the moderator after this, Shazlin, can contact her and talk further about the price and also the first question that I posted just now. Okay, so thank you because actually we are towards the end of our session. Okay, and if you have any question, you can just maybe ask the question right now, because I suppose we still have maybe a few minutes left. Okay, if you have any question, you can ask. Okay, to conclude what I want to say, what I have been sharing with all of you today is that as teachers, we have to make sure when we are doing hands-on with virtual classroom, we have to consider a few factors. Number one, our preparation. When we want to deliver the content, we have to be prepared. Okay, use platform that students familiar with. Okay, if we want to use platform that students are not familiar with, we have to give a guidance. I forgot to mention, I tried once using Jamboard. Student never heard of Jamboard before. I prepared the Jamboard and the Jamboard is empty. Student not want to submit because they do not know how to. That's my bad, my mistake. So I in the WhatsApp group, I send instruction on how to use Jamboard because I didn't realize that students do not familiar with in using Jamboard. Okay, and then consider factors that our students are sharing gadgets, internet connection, and other factors that make them unable to join the live classroom, but maybe they can watch the recording on YouTube or on other platform. Okay, and we have to make sure our instructions are clear. If we want to record a voice note, maybe the students miss our voice very much. So we send the voice note in WhatsApp or Telegram. We send a video of us telling the instructions, or just create a short poster, a very simple poster, so that student can review the poster. On the poster, you have the instructions and so on. Okay, I guess that's all. That covers everything that I've told you today. If you have any question, you can just either ask the question on the chat.
Mr. Hazwan,
this.
teacher Mala
Yeah.
Devi got one question.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, we are on par. I think all of us, the teachers, are on par with what you are doing as activities and so on. But I would like to get suggestions either from you or from the other participants here, attendees here. How do you do online marking? Like besides using Telegram, yes, but it's very, very tedious when you have to go through 35 sets of questions, 35 sets of exercises and so on online. So how would you suggest an easier way to do marking?
Okay, thank you. So thank you, Cikgu Mala. As I mentioned earlier, we have expectation and we also have the reality. The expectation is that we have to produce an essay because that's what we always do in the classroom. But in virtual classroom, student might not be able to produce an essay. So we can just bulk down the level. Maybe can just today student write one paragraph. So instead of checking the whole essay, okay, maybe this week we can just check the paragraph, one paragraph, next week another paragraph. It might take a lot of steps, but we have to consider a lot of factors. Students are learning other subjects as well. They are also completing other homework as well, and they are doing it at home, not at school, or they have also their siblings are using the phone as well. Okay, so we have to lower down expectation, give them simpler task but continuous. Okay, simpler task, continuous. Instead of writing the whole essay, today we just ask them to brainstorm and then show your mind map. Tomorrow, another step, introduction paragraph. Write one introduction paragraph, show me. So it might take some time, but at least we can mark easily and we can mark better. And this is my personal opinion. I don't grade all the tasks, meaning that I don't put grade in all tasks. Some tasks should be left ungraded, so that students know they have no pressure in completing it. They have to, but there's no pressure in completing it. Okay, so that we can go back to them. For example, when students send work in my Google Classroom, I will return to them and tell them there are some amendment that you should do, even though just one paragraph. So we just need to read one paragraph and we can move to another short paragraph. If, for example, we have 35 students, so only introduction paragraph for that day we have to check. Okay, in contrast with checking essay on paper, that's different. Okay, that's different level. Okay, hope that answered the question.
Helpful, thank you.
Okay, do we have another question? If not mistaken, we have. I can see just now another question. Okay. So can I read the question? Because I can see the question right now. Shazlin, can? Do you have time for a question?
Yeah, can.
Okay, one last question, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether it's a question. Okay, so actually it's not the question. That's just the explanation of the previous activity. Okay, so I guess there's no other question in the chat. Okay, so I guess that's all for today. If you have anything, maybe we can still be connected. If you can see that another way when you are doing your classroom, we can make our slide a bit cheerful, okay? As you can see that I'm using Bitmoji over here. It's supposed to be a very formal presentation, but just putting a little bit of Bitmoji here and there, student will be interested to look at the presentation. Okay, and there are a lot of free slides template available online. So instead of just recycling the one that is there in the PowerPoint or Google Slide, you can just try to make your presentation cheerful for the students to get attracted to the online classroom. Okay, so this is the skill that we have to learn at this kind of time, because students need to learn in virtual classroom. Okay, so I can be reached at my Facebook Hazwan HN, or my Instagram Hazwan_HN, or you can just email me at these two email addresses. Okay. Okay, so I guess thank you very much. Give back the floor to our moderator.
So thank you so much, Mr. Hazwan, for these meaningful sessions, and thank you for all the participants. So before we end these sessions, I would like to take a group photo. Can you guys open up the camera? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, and have a good day.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Which